Hey everyone! So today I'm going to be conducting some interviews to some Texas Tech students about physician-assisted suicide and just get their overall opinion after telling them what exactly it is. So I'm just going to give a little rundown beforehand and then proceed to ask them the questions. So physician-assisted suicide is when a physician gives the patient information or the medication to speed up their death process. The thing about this, though, is that it is not legal in all states, and there is very little wiggle room whenever it comes to this, because when it comes to terminally ill patients, they do have the right to choose, but then you also have the other end where patients who are simply depressed or anxious also want to go through with this process. This is a very debated topic because it really comes down to how people think morally whenever it comes to the physicians and religion and, like the grief process, like after it happens. And so it's a very controversial topic that is not talked about a lot. This can also cause a lot of legal problems whenever it comes to the physician, because if it is not legal and they do proceed with it, it can cause a lawsuit or, anything along those lines. And it's a very fine line. Some people feel that the patients should be able to choose how they pass away, and some people don't. And so this interview process is just going to see how tech students feel about it, what plan of action they would take if it were up to them, and just like simply trying to, see every side of this topic. Okay, so I'm here with
Jennifer Liming.
How old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
And where do you go to school?
Texas Tech.
Okay. So before today, how familiar were you with physician-assisted suicide?
I would say I'm pretty familiar with it. I learned a lot about it in high school, doing some different group projects. So yeah.
What are your first thoughts or reactions when you hear about physician-assisted suicide?
I would say that in certain cases I can understand why patients would want to do it if they're terminally ill, have no other if they're just ready. But in a lot of cases I feel like it's pretty out there to do.
So do you think that patients should have some level of choice in their end-of-life decisions?
Yes, if they're able to make that decision, if they're in the right mind, because a lot of patients I feel are either depressed. If they have, different mental issues, they shouldn't be able to make that decision. Or if they are too old to be able to make that decision, then they shouldn't be able to do it.
What role do you think doctors should play in these kinds of decisions?
I feel like they definitely need to tell their patients all their options, and this should definitely be a last resort. Don't even bring it up until it's the very last thing, and they should, make sure that the patient is in the right state of mind to make that choice.
And then lastly, how do you think choices like this impact family members or loved ones?
I feel like it's definitely a very hard thing. I mean, you never want to hear that a family member of yours is wanting to do that, and I feel like that's definitely something that they need to all figure out, come together and figure out before that decision is finalized.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm here with
Mila Sarnowski,
How old are you?
19,
And where do you go to school?
Texas Tech.
Okay. So before today, how familiar were you with physician-assisted suicide?
I've obviously known about it, but I haven't gone into detail like you have explaining it, so I don't know very much about it.
So how do you think situations involving serious illness might affect someone's perspective on this issue?
Well, if I were to be put in someone's situation with stage 4 cancer, I would obviously see the outcomes of not wanting to live, and I could see how people wouldn't want to do that, but I would definitely want my family members and doctors to confirm that it's okay.
Do you think patients should have some level of choice in their end-of-life decisions, why or why not?
I think it depends if they're mentally aware and know what they're doing, and obviously like I said, have doctors' perspectives and family members as well.
What role do you think doctors should play in these kinds of decisions?
I would say because that's someone's life, and depending on your religion and whatnot and what you believe in, it's definitely a big thing. So I would say a doctor needs to improve on it every situation.
So overall, how do you feel about the topic after thinking about it a little more?
I understand now that it's more common than what I was thinking, and how there's definitely needs to be more research and like have more talk about it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm here with.
Ben Hall.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
And where do you go to school?
Texas Tech.
Okay, so before today, how familiar were you with physician-assisted suicide?
I would say that like I knew a little bit about it from like reading stuff online, but I wasn't like completely aware.
Okay. Do you think patients should have some level of choice in their end-of-life decisions? Why or why not?
It's hard to say because, I mean, you have to look at a patient's like mental state, because like mental disability or just something going on in their personal life, I feel like there's a lot of things that kind of affect why they may be deciding that.
Okay. What role do you think doctors should play in these kinds of decisions?
Just support, whatever that looks like for them, if that's like mental support or physical support, whatever that looks like for them.
Okay, and overall, how do you feel about the topic after thinking about it more?
I would say it's an issue. I think people have a lot of really strong opinions about it, but it's not being brought up as much as it could.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm here with.
Nash,
How old are you?
I'm 19,
Where do you go to school?
Texas Tech.
Okay, so before today, how familiar were you with physician-assisted suicide?
Not familiar.
Okay. Do you think patients should have some level of choice in their end-of-life decisions? Why or why not?
I think yes, but I don't think it's a good idea to just end your life. It's like life could always move on and get better, so I think it's wrong.
Okay. What role do you think doctors should play in these kinds of decisions?
I don't think they should be a part. I mean, obviously they're there to help you, but like I don't think they should just tell you to like end your life. So I can say that.
Even for like terminally ill patients
Yeah.
or okay.
Press.
How do you think choices like this might impact family members or loved ones?
I don't think it's right because you don't know what's going on inside like a family person's like brain. So I'd like probably be terrible if it happened. The family would grieve.
Okay, thank you.